Pompey Sound. Updates. The latest from Fratton Park. On the hour, every hour. Fueled by Piglet's Pantry. Click pigletspantry.co.uk to get your fill.
John Mousinho is itching to start Kyde Gordon, but is waiting for the right moment. He says this. He's been really unlucky, he's been really sharp in training, but it has been about the state of the game at the time. We can absolutely trust him when he comes on, but what we want him to do is have a look at what's required of the wingers. You can't all of a sudden just bring players in who have been playing PL2 with Liverpool and then playing with Norwich. It's a different press, different set of circumstances, yet they're expected to pick it up straight away. We want to give him that exposure, give him that training, so when we do slot him in, he knows what he's doing. Kyde understands, he has been at it in training, and gives me a real headache in terms of selection. I think the experience for him will be good, he will play games, and be a very, very good player. There's no worries. Yes, everybody wants to play more. I want to play Kyde more. He's got a fantastic role model to look at the moment in terms of Matt Ritchie and what he's doing at the age of 35, and these experiences as a young pro should help.
Predictions for the Leeds game, Sam Stone.
Fratton Park's a very different ground to any other ground in the Championship, and for me that does give us a slight glimmer of hope, and the form at home has been good. So if all the stars aligned, we'll go for a 1-1 draw, but that's me being really, really positive, and hoping some players have a really good game. Dean Adams says,
do you know what? I can't see us winning it. We just need to put in a decent performance. We just don't want our morale damaged at home. But I can see something like a 3-1 defeat, sadly, and I think that's the way it's going to go. I think the biggest thing for us at the weekend is don't get any injuries.
Pompey women nailed their first league win of the season on Sunday, 2-0 against Sheffield United. Sophie Barker and Reva Casley got the goals after Sheffield had a player sent off. Hannah Coyan, Ava Rowbotham and Emma Jones all returned to the starting lineup, as Olivia Bramley, Lily Dent and Emma Thompson made way. It had been an unremarkable opening. But then Sheffield were reduced to 10 as Hobson brought down Hornby and was shown a red card by referee Ella Broad. Sophie Quirk's free kick went inches over the bar. Cohn's attempt was then deflected past the post, and a long-range Jones effort was turned wide by Sion Rogers. Half-time, Sheffield United 0, Pompey 0. The second half started tight for both teams, but then Pompey edged ahead. On 74 minutes, Hornby's corner was headed in by Casley at the back post. Then Hornby picked up a weak back pass and slipped it to Barker to score. Final score, Sheffield United 0, Pompey 2. The result sees Pompey women close the gap between them and second-to-bottom Sheffield to 1 point.
Interesting about Gordon. If you listen elsewhere on Pompey Sound, you'll hear Sam Stone saying, sports journalist Sam, regular on Pompey Sound, says that he has posted the notion that perhaps Pompey could rest a few players against Leeds because the Plymouth game is in some ways more important and more likely to yield us the 3 points, one of the 2 or 3 games that we need to win in order to be certain of staying up. And if that means that we put out a side that will learn against Leeds, they'll learn what life is going to be like playing a Premier League club. Everybody seems to be agreed that Leeds United will be playing Premier League football next season and that therefore they are a Premier League side playing Premier League football. What a fantastic experience for someone like Gordon, who's only played PL2 and for Norwich and half a half for us to date. If he's learning as fast as John Mousinho is saying that he is learning, one gets the impression that quite a lot of our youngsters are not blooded until they have picked up 1 or 2 important aspects of the Mousinho game, playing the John Mousinho way, the Pompey way, before they get out there and do their stuff. And we're incubating quite a lot of youngsters. We were only looking at it at Pompey Sound the other day. We've got something like 10 or 12 players who are 22 or under. Some of those we've borrowed, but the majority of them we've invested in. They belong to us. They are for the long term, the medium term to the long term. Abdoulaye Kamara, for example, we haven't seen since he had a couple of cameo appearances shortly after arriving, which it turns out were as much as anything else, so that the coaching staff could take a look at him in action and see how much he needs to learn before he starts playing the game the Pompey way, which hopefully he will learn how to do and take his place next to the players who are still young but are playing the Pompey way. And this is why Devlin has got the contract that he's got. He's only 21. Christian Sadie is now someone we can rely on to do the job that the manager wants. And some of the others as well, Jacob Farrell, Hayden Matthews. These are youngsters. Never forget that Riley Towler's only 22. So there's a clear policy at Fratton Park to treat these youngsters with the respect that they deserve, so that when they do start playing in the Championship, then they will acquit themselves well. It will do their confidence good. It will do their transfer value, if they're going back to their parent clubs, their transfer prospects, an awful lot of good. So this is clearly a policy which Mousinho is hinting at when he suggests that Gordon is pretty much ready to perhaps play a full game. So just dovetailing this into what we were saying a moment ago about Sam Stone's notion that we should think about resting a few players for the Leeds game so that they are going to be fresh as a daisy, as fresh as you can be to a daisy, playing all this football for the all-important Plymouth game. Lots of people said that Murphy didn't have a good game. They were right. Murphy didn't have... I'm not saying that they got it wrong when I say lots of people are saying. I guess everybody's saying that Murphy didn't perform to his usual high standards. Anybody who spent time watching him sitting on the deck after our last home game, in which he completely cream-crackered himself, and he sat there just grateful for the whistle and almost unable to haul his carcass down the tunnel. Well, I know it's not a tunnel, but you know what I mean. And into the bath will give you some idea of perhaps how tired he's feeling. Not just with the running he's doing on the ball, not just with the running he's doing to make himself available to receive the ball, but the press. He works with the press. He covers Ogilvie when necessary, and he's covering an awful lot of territory. So he's tired. And if we ever wanted him fresh as a daisy for a game that I'm not going to say we should win, I'm going to say we really would very much like to win, which is against Plymouth, then we could possibly rest him. How Gordon would fit in if he were chosen to be the replacement for that game is interesting, because he seems to like to play on the right and cut in on his favoured left foot. Well, if his right foot is just for standing on and his left foot is the one, it means if we play him on the left, then Colby Bishop will be delighted, because rather than watch somebody cut in and shoot, he's going to be having somebody who's going to try and get to the byline and get a cross in. And Colby is such a good striker. He is long overdue knocking one in the near stick or the bar stick, and let it be against Leeds. This is Pompey Sound.